Reproduction today. So we are going to work on reproduction today. So I hope you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, kindly thumb up. Okay. So reproduction is the biological process by which living organisms produce new individual offspring that resemble their parent of their own kind, that is, of the same species. And this, one of the importance of reproduction, that it ensures continuity of life from one generation to another. This reproduction will not occur except between organisms of the same species. So they will come together to give rise to offspring. So which are their children. So who can remind us of the meaning of species? And now I will say species. What's the meaning? What's the meaning of species? Lavarodia. That is Otunla Oh yeah, what's the meaning of species? So what's the meaning of species? I want someone to just unmute his or her mic to talk. If you are there, kindly thumb up. So anybody there, kindly thumb up.
Species are a group of organisms that share common characteristics.
Yeah, share common characteristics. I will give you 4/10. So that's 4/10. And quite times without number, we've defined species in this class like times without several times. So I used to define species as a group of organisms which are closely related and are capable of interbreeding freely. So group of organisms which are closely related and are capable of interbreeding freely. So do you get that? So if you just say that closely related means that they share the same characteristics. But if you are not putting interbreeding freely, that shows that like you are not getting full mark. So the meaning of interbreeding freely is it has to do with reproduction we are doing today. So interbreed. So can they come together to produce offspring? So then that one makes them the species. For example, now, human being like a man and gorilla, or man and chimpanzee, you can see that like we have some relationship. We have the same order as primate. The order of human being in classification is primate. The order of chimpanzee is primate. So we have some relationships together. But can we come together to interbreed freely? No. So that does not make us the same species. So do you get that? That's why if you have not put capable of interbreeding freely, so you have not defined the species very well. Now, So importance of reproduction. The first one is that it ensures continuity of life. Another one is replacement of old individuals, transmission of hereditary traits, variation. So that's genetic variation, which is not in it drive the genetic variation and population growth. Then it is also used for agricultural and medical importance. Now we are going to the two types of respiration that we have. So after the meaning of knowing the meaning of respiration, so the next important thing for your jump is types of respiration, forms of respiration. So the first one is asexual respiration. Are you with me? So asexual respiration. And asexual respiration is a kind of respiration that only involve single parents to produce offspring. So without the fusion of gametes or sex cell. So gamete is male sex cell and the female sex cell. The male sex cell is the sperm cell, while the female sex cell is what egg or ovary cells. So in this asexual reproduction, offspring used to be genetically identical to the parent, in which we can even call them clone. Just like they say that someone is a clone of you, exact copy, carbon copy of you. So that's how the offspring in this sexual reproduction used to be. The characteristics is that it requires only one parent, there's no gamete formation. So the reproduction is rapid. So it can occur in minutes, in hours. So asexual reproduction do not take uh months, days to happen. It can occur in like hours, in minutes, in seconds. So for example now, bacteria can replicate. So fragmentation can occur in minutes, in hours. So and the offspring will be numerous. So they can give birth to what? Numerous offspring at the same time. So it's common in lower organisms like bacteria, protists, that's unicellular organisms, some plants, and what? Few animals. So the methods of asexual reproduction that we have, they are very, very important. So the first one is binary fission. First one is binary fission. Uh, and this has to do with when the parent cell divide into two identical daughter cells. So a parent cell, like amoeba now. All of you know amoeba is a unicellular organism. So amoeba undergo asexual reproduction, and the type of the form a we have two forms of reproduction, asexual and sexual. So we now have types under asexual, we have types under asexual. So the type of asexual reproduction amoeba uh, carry out is binary fission. So amoeba will divide into what? Into two equal halves identically. So genetically identical. That is, whatever is in offspring A is the same thing offspring B. Then also bacteria, also paramecium and euglena. So they will become a whole organism on their own. So we also have multiple fissions. So multiple fissions will not divide into two. After dividing into two, that two we also divide into four. Four will divide into eight, like that. So that's what nucleus dividing many times before cell split into the daughter cells. So that's multiple fission. It occurs in plasmodium and the sporozoa. That's the parasitic protozoans, the parasitic unicellular organism like trypanosome. Then we also have budding. Budding is a small outgrowth, which is called the bud, that protrude from the parent body, and after becoming mature, it detaches from the body of the parent. So it starts as a new individual. So this occur in hydra and yeast. So hydra and yeast. So we also have spore formation. It also refers to as sporulation. is an example of asexual reproduction. This occur when the parent cell produce tiny reproductive cells called spores, which can grow into a new organism. So this one is common in like in pteridophytes. So example of fern is common in fungi, rhizopus, and mucor. So spore formation. So we also have fragmentation. So this has to do with like the body of the parent cell will break into fragments. So each fragment will now develop into new individual. This one is found majorly in flatworm, and flatworm, which is found is what is the class Tobeleria. Who can give me example of class Tobeleria in Platyhelminths, in under phylum Platyhelminths? Example of class Tobeleria. Have you forgotten the vertebrate, the 8 vertebrates we did, starting from the polyphera to echinodermata? Do you even remember the three classes under Platyhelminths? Who remember the three classes under Platyhelminths and their examples? Okay, go and do your revision. You know, remember the class Tobeleria, Cestoda, and Trematoda. Even if you are asked that one of the following organisms belongs to the class Trematoda, and they write liver fluke, tapeworm, they write roundworm, they write hookworm. So go and find out in our previous lessons. I think the first part. So example of flatworm that undergo fragmentation is planaria. So and that one belongs to the class Tobeleria. So we also have regeneration. This one is replacement of lost or damaged body parts, which will regrow into complete organisms. So this occurs in starfish. Starfish is an example of animal in the phylum Echinodermata. So and planaria, so under Platyhelminths. We also have vegetative propagation. This one occurs in plants. So new plant developed from vegetative parts like roots, stems, and leaves. As you know, that cassava is being planted by what? By stem. So it's not planted by seed. So that shows that what is asexual reproduction. So sweet potato is planted by roots. That's rhizome. So bryophyllum, the leaf. We also have some plants like bryophyllum that is, we plant it, we propagate it by its leaf, and onion also, we use bulb to propagate onion. So we also have parthenogenesis. So this is a development of an egg. The egg will not be fertilized. So the egg will develop into a new organism without fertilization by a female, by a male gamete. So example of those organisms is bee, aphids, some lizard, and some fish. Artificial vegetative propagation. So this one is performed by humans using plant parts for multiplication, like cutting in cassava, grafting in orange, layering in guava, so budding in what? Roses, and tissue culture. So we also have conjugation. So this conjugation occur in some algae. So conjugation can occur in fungi, it can occur in paramecium. So paramecium undergo binary fission, but for its asexual reproduction, but for sexual reproduction, it undergoes budding. Fungi also undergo for sexual reproduction, it undergo conjugation. Fungi also undergo conjugation for sexual reproduction. So this is temporary union of two cells for exchange of genetic material before separating. So this occurs in Spirogyra, some fungi, and amoeba. So the advantages of asexual reproduction. So I've told you before, it requires only one parent. So uh, there is large number of offspring produced. And the disadvantages, the most important disadvantages of asexual reproduction is that there's no genetic variation. Every organism are identical. They have the same DNA. They have the same genetic makeup. For example, now you and your father, you do not have the same. You have genetic variation in the sense that your father might be AA and you might be AS. So concerning your genotype. So in like your father's gene and your mother's gene, they come together to form your own. So, but in uh asexual reproduction, this is not like that because it only occur in a single parent. It's that single parent that will divide into two. So whatever is genetic makeup of that parent is what the two children will have, what the two offspring will have. So they will be genetically identical as their parents. So we have someone that is dark that will give out to someone that is light in complexion. Maybe that person have the recessive gene of what? Of lightness or light complexion in its body. So you give out to what you see person that is dark, giving out to someone that is what light in complexion. That shows that what you can there's genetic variation. So but in asexual reproduction, there is no genetic variation. This if a parent cell divide into like maybe 100 offspring, maybe in a day. So because it can be dividing every minute, maybe at the end of the day, give out to like 100 offspring. You can see that that is numerous. Human being cannot give out like that. It will even take time. It's not rapid like that. So that's one of the what advantages and disadvantages. But major disadvantages of asexual reproduction is that there is no genetic variation. Whatever disease affects organism A, offspring A, we also affect offspring B. We also affect offspring Z. From A to Z, they will contract diseases. Can you see disease is spread quickly? So there's not that this one have high immune system, this one have low immune. They have the same immune system. So that's what is sexual reproduction. So then let's come to sexual reproduction. I hope you are following me. Okay. So sexual reproduction, it involves two parents, unlike asexual reproduction, which involves one parent. So two parents producing what male and female gametes, which is the sex cell. I've told you the male gamete is the sperm cell, while the female gamete is the egg cell. The egg is also referred to as ova, plural, ovum, singular. So which we fuse during fertilization to form a zygote. Evolution is the changes that occur in organism over time. So the changes that occur in organism over time. Just as if you say that human being evolved from ape, that shows that human being are like ape before, we have tail before, so we chimpanzee, monkey, apes, gorilla, like that. So to the extent that we can now stand upright, we've lost our tail. So that's the belief of the evolutionalists. So changes that occur over time, not in organism. I hope that is clear. So this sexual reproduction, it involves two parents. Now fertilization is the what? Is the fusion of male and female gametes to form a zygote. So there is gamete formation. So gamete formation occurs by meiosis. Meiosis only has to do with a sexual reproduction, while mitosis has to do with asexual reproduction, because mitosis is splitting of parent cell into two identical daughter cells. You can see that is similar to binary fission. So mitosis cell division has to do with asexual reproduction, while meiosis has to do with sexual reproduction, because is the one that meiosis has to do with gamete formation. And also mitosis or can occur in somatic cell, body cell, somatic or body cell. So there's variation, there's genetic variation in sexual reproduction. So, but you can see it's slower than asexual reproduction, like before human being can give birth, so after 9 months. But in lower offspring, unicellular organisms, so they can divide. Budding can occur, binary fission can occur in hours, in seconds, in minutes, like that. So, and this occur in higher plants and animal. So, sexual reproduction in plants. So we have some processes under sexual reproduction in plants. So the first thing is formation of gametes by meiosis in reproductive organ. So the male gamete is sperm in animals, so is pollen grain in plants. While the female gamete is ovum or egg in animals, is ovule in plant. So that ovule is what is found, is the structure inside the what? Inside the ovary. So the ovum is small structure inside the ovary. So ovary is the organ. So you can see that pollen grain is also found inside the anther. So that's why I say that pollination is what is the transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the what? To the stigma. So then fertilization will occur, fusion of male and female gamete to form zygote, and development of zygotes under mitotic division to form an embryo, which develop into new organisms. So type of fertilization, we can have external fertilization and internal fertilization. So external fertilization occur outside the body of the female. So like frog, fishes. So the female will lay egg in the water and the male will pour sperm on it. So the sperm and egg will fertilize outside the female body. So the internal fertilization occur inside the female bed like birds. So you know the eggs, before the bird lay eggs, that egg will have been fertilized. So it will just pass through incubation. Then the egg of reptiles also, it will have been fertilized. The egg of mammals, humans, so it is fertilized inside. The sperm and the egg cell, they will meet inside the body of that female, so not outside. I hope you understand that. Okay, so let's look at the sexual reproduction in plants. So flower is the reproductive organ of flowering plant. So the main part of the flower, we have the sepals, which is also called the calyx, to protect the flower bud. We have the petals. The petals is the colorful part of the flower. Can you see, have you seen hibiscus flower before? That red part, that is colored is called the petals. So it's also known as corolla. So it attracts, the colorful part attracts the pollinator, like bees, like butterfly, and other insects like that. So we also have the stamens. So the stamens consist of anther, which produces the pollen grain, and the filament, so which hold the anther. So the stamen is also known as androecium, which is the male reproductive organ in the flower. So you also have gynoecium. You have gynoecium, which is also referred to as carpel or pistil. So that's the female organ. So the carpel or pistil consists of stigma, is the stigma that receives pollen grain. So we also have the style, is the tube for pollen, and we also have the ovary that contains the ovules. So the carpel or pistil consists of what? Stigma, style, and ovary, while the stamens consist of anther and filament. So the other part We have the pedicel. Pedicel is that long tube below the calyx, so below the sepals, that hold the what? That hold the flower, that join to the flower with the plant. So we have the receptacle support of flower plants, the pedicel. So it attach flower to the plant. So we also have types of flowers. So we have complete flower like hibiscus flower or sunflower. These have the four main parts of the flower: the calyx, it's also known as what? As the sepal, the corolla, it's also known as the what? As the petal. So the androecium, stamen, and gynoecium, the pistil or carpel. So a complete flower has these four main parts. Incomplete flower lacks one or more of these parts, like maize purple. Bisexual, the perfect flower has both male and female parts. So in one uh, plant. So that's why it's called bisexual. Unisexual, that's another name for unisexual flower, is imperfect flower. So it has only one, only male or only female part. So there's now we'll talk about flower and we'll not talk about pollination, joining everything together. So pollination is transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower. So if it is self-pollination, this is self-pollination. If it is cross-pollination, it will be transfer of pollen grain from the anther of a flower to the stigma of another flower. So that one is cross-pollination. So you see now the same plant, so it's self-pollination. So different plants of the same species is what? Cross-pollination. So agents of pollination: wind can pollinate maize, grass. Insect can pollinate hibiscus flower and sunflower. Water, some of the aquatic plants like algae. So birds and bats. So some certain tropical plants. So fertilization in a plant. So when the pollen grain lands on the stigma, so that's the part of the female reproductive organ which receive the pollen grain. So pollination will occur. So it germinates, forming a pollen tube that grows through the style into the ovary. So the male nucleus fuses with the female egg cell in the ovule to form a zygote. So this is double fertilization in flowering plants. So one male nucleus plus egg cell will form what? Zygote. That's the embryo. Another male nucleus plus polar nuclei will form the endosperm, which is food for embryo. So the fruit and seed formation: the ovary will form the fruit and the ovule will form the seeds. So the ovule has small structure inside the ovary. So, and the seed will germinate into a new plant under favorable condition. So that's fertilization in plants. So let's look at sexual reproduction in animals. So we have male reproductive system and we have female reproductive system. So all these, we have majorly internal. So we only have the scrotum and the penis external. So that's those one we can see with our naked eye. So you can see your scrotal sac and you can see the male reproductive organ. So but those one found inside. So we have the testes. The testes are two. They are found inside the what? Inside the scrotum. The crust. So the testes, that's what it produce sperm. It produce sperm cells and male hormone testosterone. Testes produce hormone testosterone. The scrotum now, So the scrotum is the sac that hold and produce the testes. The testes are two, so inside the scrotum. So because they need warm temperature, so for sperm production. So the function of testes is that it produces sperm. So the epididymis, so it's also found inside what? Inside the male reproductive organ. So the function is to store and mature sperm cell. So that's where the sperm is being stored and mature. So before it comes out. So we also have vas deferens. Another name for vas deferens is sperm duct. So this one transports sperm from epididymis to the urethra. So urethra is the pathway that is even the pathway for urine. So it's also the pathway for what? For sperm to the what? To the outside the penis. So we have seminal vesicles. So it's the part that produces the seminal fluid that nourishes the sperm. The prostate gland, the function of the prostate gland is that it secretes alkaline fluid that neutralizes acidity in the vagina and supports sperm survival. So we have some acidic level so in the female reproductive organ. So when sperm gets there, so sperm, it can kill some sperm, but the prostate gland will have secreted alkaline fluid that will follow the sperm inside that organ. So which we support the survival of the sperm. So we also have the Cowper's gland. So this produces mucus that replicates and cleans the urethra before ejaculation. So the urethra serve as passage for urine and semen. So but this will not come at the same time. So when the semen is coming, the urine cannot follow. So except one will occur before another one. So urine can come out first before semen can, or semen after semen, urine can follow. But the two cannot come out at the same time. So the penis is the organ that introduces sperm into the female reproductive tract, as we know. So now the female reproductive system now. So we have the ovaries. I hope you are still following me. So we have the ovaries. The ovaries produce ova. So the ova is also known as the egg cell, and female hormones, estrogen and progesterone. So it's produced in the ovary. So we also have the fallopian tube or the oviduct. So this one transports over from ovary to uterus. So uterus is the womb. Another name for uterus is the womb. So that's the site of fertilization. Where the egg cell and sperm cell meet is the uterus. So the egg cell will be produced from the fallopian tube. So, and that's why if the egg cell is not produced in the fallopian tube, so the female cannot what? Cannot reproduce, because sperm will not see anything to fertilize. So we also have the fimbriae. So it's a finger-like projection that help capture the released egg from the ovary. So the uterus is also known as the womb. So it's the thick muscular organ where the fertilized egg implant and the embryo develops inside. The endometrium is the inner lining of the uterus that thickens for implantation. So before pregnancy occur, so the lining of the uterus will have become thickened so as to be ready to what? To for embryo development. So we also have the cervix. So the cervix is a narrow neck of the uterus that opens into the vagina. So the vagina is the birth canal, we know, is the one that receive the sperm during copulation and allows passage of baby during birth. So we have the clitoris, so a sensitive organ involved in what? Sexual stimulation. So we also have the labia majora and the labia minora. So it's the folds of skin that protect the vagina and urethral openings. So the ureter openings is the passage for urine excretion in female reproductive tract. So this is the summary of the function of the both the female and the male reproductive organ. So we've come to the end of reproduction, both in plant and in animal types of reproduction, the asexual and sexual mode of reproduction. I hope you understand everything. So if you come across any question on it, you should be able to tackle it. Uh Inshallah. So any question for the end of the class? Do you have any question? I will just urge you to do the revision of our previous classes. So to do revision of our previous classes, so that you do not learn and forget. So ask a question. You are raising your hand. I can't hear you very well. Can you speak louder? Or can anyone hear her?
No, sir. Maybe she made it. Maybe it was a mistake.
Oh, okay. So inshallah, we are stopping here for today. So I will continue with another topic next class, inshallah. Between mitosis and what? And meiosis, right? So
Yes, sir.
mitosis and meiosis are two types of cell division. But
But
mitosis only occur in somatic or body cell. Mitosis occur in somatic or body cells, while meiosis occur in gamete cells like sperm cell and egg cell. So and mitosis are produce at the end of mitosis, two diploid daughter cells are being produced. That's two daughter cells, diploid, two daughter cells. So mitosis is a form of like binary fission. So it's also like it occurs in body cells in which the parent cell divide into two, and produce the parent cell will produce diploid cell. So why in meiosis it occurs in gamete cells like egg cell and what uh and sperm cells. So
Sperm
this
cells.
one at the end of meiosis, haploid daughter cells is produced. That's four daughter cells.
Yes.
But that meiosis, there's no genetically identical offspring. Why in mitosis there is genetically identical offspring? Do you get that?
Yes, sir.
So the major question the young used to ask about that is that how many daughter cells is being produced in mitosis, how many daughter cells being produced in
So this is
meiosis?
meiosis.
So diploid and haploid, two daughter
Ah,
cells and what
what
four
daughter?
daughter cells. So in soma occurs in mitosis occurs in body or somatic cell, while meiosis occurs in what? In gamete cells and support genetic variation. So any other question before we end the class? So if there's any other question, so till next class, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Jazakumullah khairan, sir.